Only thing that ages black people is their weight. And I was like,
Girl, I ain't boiling no bucket of chicken feet. I'm not doing it.
I can't really compare with these people. And he was like, Ahaji, they have makeup on.
mm-hmm.
Everybody on set was like, oh, you were great. It was amazing working across from you. So I got all that feedback. But when I watched it, all I was looking at was my appearance. And I stopped noticing my performance. And you ain't got to cut them off, but you got to call cut.
You got to call cut.
Welcome to another episode of Somebody Called Cut.
Yes.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing amazing. It's beautiful outside.
It's so nice outside.
Right. LA's trying to act like it want to have some sense today. It was too cold earlier this week.
Thoroughly enjoy it. What is today's topic? Today's topic is...
The Critic Within.
No. Critic Within. I feel like it was something else, and I was like, wait, what is the topic? Mm-hmm. The Critic Within. That's what we talk about. I think it's interesting because, like, today I'm trying on a glueless wig for the first time. So when y'all see this episode, don't judge me too harshly. It's my first time.
Ain't nobody judging you. That wig look good.
Not y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about them.
That wig look good.
I'm talking about them. And, you know, we talk about basically what it's like to be one in this industry and kind of figuring out all of the things, right? Like, in terms of like your body, how we look, like our calling card basically is how we look. That's part of our brand. On top of being dope actors and skilled at that, part of our brand is how we look. That's just part of it, right? So I just think it was interesting that today I had like a whole thing where I'm like, I need to figure out this wig. I'm gonna change my whole hair.
Yes.
To talk about how great I feel about myself.
Yes.
But it's crazy too, because we literally not even thinking about it. I walked in talking about me having to deal with my skin issues right now too, because I'm still recovering from getting shingles. I don't have melanin back in my face. I didn't do anything. It was just a hair on my thigh. It came out of my head. Also like the difference between like my complexion on my hands right now compared to my face is crazy. So you know, even these little things kind of pop up in our lives all the time, and we don't even think about it. It's just like kind of natural, unfortunately, a natural part of day-to-day life, especially in a world of entertainment where people are constantly judging you, and not in a negative way, but like comparing you or, you know, putting you next to other people and having to make sure you match or don't match or whatever, you know.
And then also like knowing that you might have some hang-ups or some insecurities. I think everybody does. We all do. I don't think there's a single person on this earth that don't have something that they would either want to change about themselves or something that they feel uncomfortable about or whatever, but just still having to push through because we are in a business that we have to be on camera. We have to push through, and we can't forfeit the project just because we have a hang up.
Yep. And you know what's interesting to that point? Because I don't want to put your business out. Do you care?
What?
Both of, you know, Haji, you do both Martha and I's hair. So we're both like, can you dye our hair? Because we get a couple of grays, you know? So like even those things. And it's so interesting too, because like now on my feed on social media, it's always like collagen booster, drink this liquid collagen, take this powder collagen.
I've told y'all how to make these collagen.
Oh my God. I'm not doing what you do.
The chicken feet, it works. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to catch you.
Girl, I ain't boiling no bucket of chicken feet. I'm not doing it. I'll just drink a little liquid collagen.
It costs you a fraction of the price.
I'm sure it works.
I just don't want no chicken feet in my refrigerator.
Just click it.
Just click
$35. Click on the collagen powder and add it to my drink. Okay, fine.
You keep your Haitian recipes over there because I'm not having a fridge full of chicken feet. I'm sorry.
But in all seriousness, like, have you ever like looked at like footage of yourself on camera and just like you immediately cringe, or like does ever like anything that just comes up?
What does come up for me? So in editing, like figuring out how to edit this podcast, which you have figured out.
Oh, baby.
But
with the help of Rob. Thank you, Rob. Yeah.
And trying to like sort of maneuver that, I find that I need to listen to it first, just like listen to the audio. Because if I first go for the video immediately, I'm immediately like, oh damn, my legs was crossed, this part is like, I pay too much attention to that stuff. Like I look uncomfortable. Do I feel uncomfortable? I don't remember from feeling uncomfortable in that moment. It immediately becomes about how I feel like I'm presenting myself on camera. So I know that like so that I can do what I need to do, which is like put out the best product out there, not just like making sure, for vanity's sake, we all look good.
Right.
I need to just hear it first and just hear what sounds like, oh, okay, that sounds good. That flows into this, that, and then I can look at it and then edit it from that perspective, as opposed to like, I'm a highlight myself here because I looked amazing, but I'm not even talking.
Right.
Right?
You just in the mirror.
Right? So I'm, how'd you say some real important shit, but I'm just gonna pan over to me. Because in this moment, I looked amazing. So I do find myself doing that, but I'm like, for the sake of the group, honey, like, we need to just get over that.
I was just in one of the movie that came out last year that I was in called TKO. I had a very small part in it, but to me, I look like a pig stuffed in a cop suit because you couldn't see my neck. So I was paying attention to the wrong things. I stopped paying attention to my performance, and like, everybody on set was like, oh, you were great. It was amazing working across from you. So I got all that feedback. But when I watched it, all I was looking at was my appearance. And I stopped noticing my performance. And that's what we're here loving to do. Yeah. And it was so disappointing for me to be like, dang, all I cared about was like the way my face looked because you couldn't see my neck. But, and then here I am today, like trying to pop my shoulders back and push my neck out so that I don't lose my chin.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy that those things start to affect you. But it is a conversation that we should be having. And I'm glad we're talking about it today because it's real.
I would love to get to a point like, how footballers or athletes, they like play back footage of them like in rehearsal or in practice, whatever. And they'll be like, listen, I could have made that jump shot or whatever. Like, I was too close to this, or they're analyzing it from a place of like being better and not a place of like, oh, my cankles looked a little too wide, right? Like, I'm just saying, like,
yes, they don't do that.
I would love to get to that place where I can look at myself objectively and go, like, that performance could have used this, that performance could have used that, as opposed to like, oh my God, why is my chin doing that stupid shit? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I would love to get to that space. Like, I think because we have to be able to look at ourselves and like critique ourselves honestly if this is the work that we choose to do. And that's part of it, to be like, you know what, I think, or even if you like, I felt really good about that moment, and just be able to look at the performance from that point of view when you're like, okay, cool. Like, I felt really good about that. And I can look at it now and go, that's not me. That's the character. That's what the character is doing. That's what the character looks like. So that ideally I would like, but I'm a fairly like, I think I'm a confident person in real life, but there's all things that you're like, okay.
Yeah, just little things.
I didn't know all of that was showing up on the camera. You know what I mean? Like, there are definitely moments like that for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely feel the same way. I think for me, maybe a part of my Achilles heel in the world of acting is I kind of began with modeling and doing commercial work more.
Because you're pretty.
Well, thank you.
Very pretty.
And I think that I appreciate that. Sometimes I kind of don't always interpret it the same way. Yeah. Just because of my upbringing. Like, as a kid, I kind of felt different at different times or whatever. And I think we also grow into ourselves. And I have also been very mindful of working on things that I do feel could be worked on. And I think that's also very important. Like, understanding what things can I actually fix or whatever. If it's like, oh, okay, I look a little thin. Okay, all right, well, I can't do anything about that right now. I can't change what has already taken place. But I mean, I can do some more push-ups. I can eat a little bit more. I can be more mindful of that. But I cringe at different things. For me, I'm always, again, starting off like in the world of modeling, it is about looks. I remember vividly going to an audition, and a friend of mine dropped me off there, right? And he happens to be a makeup artist. And I'm just telling him after I got out, I'm like, damn, all the guys in there, they have such beautiful skin. Like, that's been some, I mean, like, there was like flawless. They didn't really have any like dark circles, any like hyperpigmentation. And those are things that I deal with being a person of color. You get a breakout, you get hyperpigmentation. Oh, yeah. And I just assume because we're men, like, we just either have to have like the best skincare regimen because wearing makeup was a bit taboo. And I talked to him, I was like, yeah, like, Jason, everybody's face is like flawless. They're so gorgeous or whatever. Like I can't really compare with these people. And he was like, Ahaji, they have makeup on. And I'm like, what? I was green. I didn't know. I was just kind of getting started in that space. So
yeah, I
full
definitely,
face.
yeah.
and I
Oh,
think
full face.
Yeah,
but a
full
lot
face.
of times too, they would just put a little concealer on and like under your eyes, put a little concealer under your eyes and cover up a few blemishes, and then you look like your skin is flawless and it doesn't look like you have makeup on. And I think a lot of guys were doing that and walking into auditions, so they have a leg up because again, if you're walking in, you don't really know that that's the game. So that's an interesting take because I walked into a few auditions too, and I'm like, dang, everybody looks so fresh facing here, and I wouldn't have any like a little concealer on. I still to this day don't often do that, but if now that everything is self-tape,
Oh, you motherfuckers are so lucky.
but now that
The fact that y'all could just be like, oh, I could put a little bit of
Oh, the
concealer
women.
on.
like, yeah, look,
Baby,
What's that?
it's so much
You need
under
full
here.
beat.
Like, full beat.
Yeah.
To look natural. Like,
Right.
to look like I don't have no makeup on.
Right.
Like, I didn't sleep a wink last night. I think I slept maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I woke up like, oh, God, this is going to be a whole thing. Of course, I was late to the recording, but it's because I'm like, I got to put the concealer, then I got to put the foundation, but make sure I put the cream because the under eyes can't be wrinkly for the the concealer to work and for all this stuff. And it was just like, it's so exhausting.
Yeah.
It could be very, very exhausting to look like you don't have any makeup on at all is crazy. So just
And a
hearing
skill.
you guys like,
Yeah.
no, I have
That's
to
a
put
whole
on
skill
concealer.
too.
It's
That's
so
a whole
funny.
skill.
I ain't got it.
Because a lot of these people look like they got a full face of makeup on. You got to make it look like you don't have any on is a full skill.
Listen, I do the best with what I got. What is that from? I do the best with what I got.
But what about things that you can't necessarily work on? Like, so again, we said skin we can kind of perfect. Even body composition we can work on sometimes, depending on.
In this day and age, you could damn near fix anything. Like, I remember Rob and I at one point, we decided that we were going to get, like, the braces, the clear braces that you can, like, get offline. And, like... First of all, neither one of us finished the goddamn program, and they went under.
Yeah, okay. Well, it wasn't.
They did
it was
go under.
Smile Direct.
Smile Direct. I had it too.
You know what? I think they came back out on like Smile Away or something like that.
They need to get sued because, baby, they didn't monitor you when you were doing the trays and stuff.
Oh,
and
no.
I injured my teeth doing that one time.
Did you really?
Yes. I had like a bruise like on my gums.
Oh, no. Them suckers was
tight.
Yo. It was tight.
Yes.
And I still gotta do it. Now I'm gonna do Invisalign now.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
You gotta get that monitored by a goddamn dentist.
Yes, but see, that's why I like Invisalign.
It made all the difference. I did that after.
You did Invisalign?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm waiting for I'm gonna do it with my dentist. It's just another expense.
It's
another expense.
Actually, I think the prices have gone down just because it's everywhere now. You can like literally mail away a mold of your mouth and get them in. But my point was when I started it, I was like, okay, now I'm shaping my teeth. And then I was like, oh, my gums. Maybe I can do that new thing where they're like, you can shave a little bit of the gums off because I have a very gummy smile. But I'm like, at the end of it, I was like, yo, I just wanted to straighten out my teeth a little bit. How do we get to this point where I'm like, and then I'm like Googling up veneers.
Right.
Like, hold the hell on. Like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
How did we get here? I have to start saying, usually now, like when I look at myself in the mirror, I attribute certain things to like my mom and my dad, and the fact that they've passed away helps me a lot. Go, oh, that's my daddy's smile.
Yeah.
I got my daddy's smile. I got my daddy's feet. I got my mama's eyes. Right. So like it helps me to like reframe how I see these things because then I'm like, I think my daddy's smile is beautiful. I think my mom's eyes were stunning. You know what I don't have the color, but oh my God, if anybody in my family had my mother's eyes, like the eye color. Yeah. You couldn't tell us anything. Oh, wow. They were like a hazel green.
Yes.
I kid you not. But yeah, it's really interesting how you like start off going, I think I'm just gonna, just for myself, I'm gonna do this thing. And then all of a sudden you start finding more shit that you want to do. But wait, let me see how much a veneer would cost in Mexico. Like, the Tijuana's right there. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the slippery slope of changing things. It's same with me. When I started using the Smile Direct, I was like, I feel like my facial structure looks different now. My cheekbones don't look as prominent, or my jawline looks different because my teeth, because I have, and this is one of those insecurities. I'm like, I don't care. I'm fine talking about it because I think this is a conversation that people should openly have because it kind of takes the stigma out of it. Because we all look in the mirror sometimes. I do it a little more than other people, I guess. But we all look in the mirror and like we probably notice things that other people don't even pay attention to. And for me, I've always been told, oh, you have such a great smile. You have such a great smile. But I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I hate my smile because my teeth kind of go in the middle. So it's not like a perfect arch, how most people have like a perfect arch. My teeth are kind of like arch in the front and then they go in on the sides. So when I was getting the Smile Direct, it was pushing my teeth out to form that arch. And it started to change like the way my face structure was. And then I started to pick up on my face. Then I'm like, oh, now my cheeks look bigger and my face looks fatter and this and like, why am I'm like, what am I doing? And it's like, what is this going to solve? Because it's just going to create more conversation within myself about other things that I think are wrong now that I fixed this thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is a scary, slippery slope. And I think that's why so often we see people who do surgery start going a little further. They, you change this on your nose, now this looks different. You change this, now this looks different. Then you change this, now this look different. So everything starts to look off balance because your face was balanced the way it was.
Yeah. I'm not gonna hold you. That is a big concern of mine with you. I ain't even gonna hold you as your friend, as a person who loves you. That is a huge concern of mine with you. That once you start, I don't even know. Because I think you're beautiful just the way you are. But I know some of those insecurities that you're talking about. So like,
I mean, I guess the thing is, in our industry, it depends on what sector you're in. Like, it's not really important to look perfect. That is not, we need to look like human beings, and other people, it's important for them to see themselves in us. So some things, like I said, like you can work on certain things if there's something that really bothers you. But there's other things that maybe you cannot, right? Like sometimes I'm concerned about my speech pattern, right?
okay.
I talk a little lazy sometimes. I mumble. Growing up, what'd you say, Hodge? There's certain mannerisms that I have that sometimes it triggers me like, oh God, knowing that I'm a gay man. So a lot of times we've internalized that as being a flaw. So, I'm like, damn, why did I cross my leg like that? Or, why did I move, my hands so much or whatever? So some of those things you can work or tweak, but some of those things I think is important to just embrace or love. Yeah. Like going back to you and you seeing certain features that your parents have, I have been recently looking at my face sometimes, and the older I get, I'm like, okay, my face is filling out a little differently or whatever, but I look more like my mother, and I love my mother, and it's like if I don't look at her through that critical lens, then I can love myself.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's a unique thing, like being actors in this way, because like if you corporate America or in really any other job, you can have that perspective of like even just the language piece of like how you talk. Everybody know what code switching is. We all do some form of it, right? Like whether you're a female in an all predominantly male space, you're code switching to sound like one of the boys. Whether you're, like you're black and you're in an all white space, there is a sort of that you put to your voice at times, right? So there's a piece to that exists for everyone in any sector that you kind of are in. But I think what's interesting about us is that, like, I think what books us work is us being uniquely us. You know what I'm saying? That includes how we talk, that includes how we look, that includes our style, that includes our perspective on things, our point of view on things. And I find it very interesting that, like, the conversation so much, especially around social media and stuff like that, is that we all want to look like the same person, but it is imperative that we be different, that we be unique. It's what's going to fucking get us work. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, and so that part to me, I find very, very interesting. Like, we're in a world where everybody feels like they have to be the same to be popular, to be this, to be that. But we're in a very particular type of business where it's like, it's really about who you are as an individual.
Yeah.
And the more you can embrace that, I think the more work we'll get, and also I think the more whatever work we don't get won't bother us so much because it's like that clearly was not for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you know what's interesting about that? Because I believe you're absolutely right. Like you're 100% right. Like the uniqueness you bring with to whatever role that you're attempting to obtain through auditioning, or once you get it that you're living through. The uniqueness of who you are is really what's going to make that character,
sure,
special. But at the same time, it's really crazy because I have recently had maybe 4 auditions where they're specifically looking for someone. They're like, we want to make sure that this is a person who is comfortable being LGBTQAI plus, and the character is always very specific. It's always a very flamboyant, quirky, funny, gay sidekick, best friend, assistant. It's always that. You helped me audition for one where I was the assistant. That one already came out. I didn't get it clearly. But again, like that's not who I am authentically as a person. You know, I'm not like walking around. And if that's who you are, that's wonderful and that's beautiful.
Sure.
But like within the confines of like how they represent specifically Black queer men, I feel like it's always that. They want them to be flamboyant, funny, over the top, the person who brings the comedic relief, but you also have to be super feminine.
Sure.
But all Black gay men are not like that. And I see representation of white gay men in other ways, or white bisexual men or white queer men in other ways. But I feel like it's always the sidekick, best friend, Black character that is like purse carrying, swirling, loud, kind of quirky and funny. And literally, I've had that audition, I don't know, 4 times in the past year. And I'm like, maybe I could book it. We'll see. But authentically, that's not who I am. So I'm having to build a character to kind of portray this personification of that character that they envision in their head. Because I know if I just do it as myself, it's not going to fit the role. So I'm cool building that character idea of this person. But also, I want to see more representation in a way that we can live in our skin and just exist as who we are. But we've seen shows like that. What was the one? There was like a Black kind of queer as folk. What was that show called? So
when did it come out?
Recently?
No, it was back in the day.
You're talking about Noah's Ark?
Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
Yeah. So, but you saw like a variety of different types of people in a queer community. Like, so it wasn't like you have to fit into this box of being this. So I just think there needs to be more representation like that. And of course, I don't think people should also be pigeonholed into just playing something that is representative of their sexuality. So there's so many ways to view that conversation. But yeah, it goes back to the conversation that you had earlier of like how you sit and then how you walk and then how you hold your hands, and all of those things come into play, because then your like mind is racing about how you're presenting yourself. Because I remember I had an audition. I will never ever forget this, and I think the casting director apologized to me without apologizing, because I was with her at an event, and I think she remembered that moment. But I walked into an audition, and it was me and a girl auditioning to be a couple, and the casting director, midway through our audition, was like, "Stop." And then we were like, "Okay." And then she was like, "He don't seem gay to you?" To the girl I'm reading with. And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "No." And then she was like, "I don't know, it's coming off real gay to me. I don't know why you just seem real gay."
About you?
About me.
In
the audition.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm already have a insecurity about it.
Right.
And then now I'm in front of another actor, and the casting director and this casting director. This was maybe 10 years ago.
Rue, when was this?
That casting,
Hold on.
10 years ago. And then I'm already insecure about it. Then this girl is standing next to me. Now she's uncomfortable. And the casting director, she just is not picking up the cues. And it was a Black casting director. And she just is like, "I don't know. Okay, keep going." But he seemed real gay to me. And then at that point, now we're both like, how do we even get back into this audition? And we just finished the audition. I was so affected by that for so long.
I can see
and she
that,
probably don't even she remembered, because she saw me. She kind of apologized in a way. And then she called me in for like 8 more things.
Yeah.
But
you know what's interesting, Rom?
yeah.
You bring that up a lot. Not that story.
Yeah.
But like we'll be in auditions and we'll be doing stuff. Like he and I did a film together where he played a New Yorker, and a lot, even when we were shooting, a lot of the times we wrote it, by the way, and it's great and it's amazing. But like even when we were shooting it, you were like, "Do I look am I coming off too gay? Is my accent like? I'm like, what? What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like, you're a phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
Like, this has
thank you.
nothing to do with any of that. Like,
Yeah.
this is a story about two people that love each other. Like, that's it. You look like somebody who's in love with someone.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I wonder what is it? Like, why that would even come up in this particular moment. But you have said that. I have heard you say it quite a few times in
Yeah.
the years that I've known you for different things. Like, will be auditioning and you're like, I don't want to come off too gay. It's like da da da. That really stuck with you.
Yeah, it's
It's
in my
like
I'm
head.
if
just
you're-
realizing now.
Like if you're not gay or you're not like a gay man, or maybe even specifically like say black gay man, it's like nobody can really understand what that feels
Sure.
like
Sure.
unless you're in those shoes. Cause yeah, it's something. It's a tape that runs in the back of your head all the time.
Yep.
I often wish like just cast me as myself as a gay man, whether or not however you perceive me or whatever. But I often get a little bit of anxiety when I have to play straight, or
Sure.
like when I'm reading a breakdown and it says, he loves his wife dearly, blah 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 blah. It automatically
Interesting.
seeps in my head. Now, commercially, sometimes not so much, because I'm just smiling, I'm passing a hot dog to my wife or whatever. It's not that big a deal.
I'm looking at a clipboard.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, just make me asexual or
Right.
whatever. But unless you're in those shoes, like you really can't, you don't have that type of insecurity.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is not exactly the same, obviously, because I'm a female and I'm straight, and I don't have that sort of
Yeah.
lived experience. But like, I've told you this a couple times where I'm just like, if I'm going out for like a lawyer or auditioning for a lawyer or a doctor or this, I'm very cognizant about how I speak.
Yeah.
I am a girl from New York City, from around the way, and there are very much times where you hear
Yeah.
how I speak. You know
But
what I
it-
mean? And so like I get very like, oh God, how does a doctor talk? Does a doctor
Oh, I
talk
see.
like this?
Yeah.
Or how does a lawyer talk? A lawyer doesn't,
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
ours, like all these things. And it really just takes a lot of like reprogramming and telling
Mhm.
yourself, like, what the fuck do you mean? There's doctors from Washington Heights. There's
Yes.
lawyers from Washington Heights. There's all sorts of people and it really shouldn't change how you approach your work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? In the same part of like the gay best friend, there's also like the big black best friend.
Yeah.
And because I've put on some weight, she looks good. Don't get it twisted.
Okay.
Don't get it twisted. But I am bigger than some girls. Plus, I'm taller. I'm like 5'9". I have a friend that called me an Amazon. He's like, you're an Amazon. You're a big, beautiful woman. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that. But when I first moved out here, Carolyn Berry. Now, okay, can you tell a little bit about Carolyn Berry so that I could like... Wait,
Yeah.
have we talked about her?
No,
on
we
here
haven't
before?
talked about Carolyn Berry. And I thought about this when this conversation came up specifically, and I'll let you go on.
You
but
have something about her too? You
yeah,
said something to
yeah.
you?
But it was like that old school Hollywood
Oh yeah.
approach to like really breaking actors and getting them into the
And she kept it a buck. I
She kept it a
I
buck,
didn't mind. Okay,
okay?
so Carolyn Berry owned this company called Carolyn Berry Studios.
Carolyn Berry Creative Studios.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Carolyn Berry Creative. I thought it was entertainment. Anyway,
Creative
Carolyn
Studios, I think it was.
Creative Studios, right? And she like had a bunch of teachers that worked under her. And when I first moved out here, I met her randomly, serendipitously. I also had bought her book before I met her, which is crazy. Anyway, so she is from New York. She was a casting director for commercials. And so she,
And an actress.
and she just was a no holds bar, tell you exactly how it is kind of woman, but she was very loving and sweet. If she liked you, she really liked you. And I remember like taking her camera class. I also studied with one of her students, Josh, who I still study with to this day and teach for. So anyway, like I brought her my headshot. So I'm like, I just need to know what I'm like trying to do and like da 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 da. And it was an older headshot because I was still trying to figure out what do I do? Can I use this? I paid money for these. I had the, this is when you was printing out the 100 stamps
Baby. Okay.
in the boxes
still got
with your
mine.
name, right? The 100 stacks with
Put
your
my
boxes.
name on the
I'm
right-hand
like,
side,
yeah, right,
down on
like in the
the
little
white
border.
border. Yeah.
You got to keep them white borders so you
Yes.
can staple the resume
Right,
to the front.
exactly. So you can staple it. I had that. So I was like, I came with my big ass box of things. But it was a few years old, I will say. And she looked at that and looked at me, looked at that and looked at me. She said, you got to lose weight. Only thing that ages black people is they weight. How old you are? I told her. She was like, you need to lose weight. Because if you don't want to be anything more than the best friend, this is not going to work for you. Because this person does not look like that person. Only thing that ages black people is their weight. And I was like, okay.
How did that feel?
Got my
when she
little
said
Planet
that?
Fitness
Yeah.
membership
Okay.
immediately.
Yeah.
Sign me up. How did it feel? You know what? Like I said, I appreciate somebody just telling you how it is.
Yeah.
But I honestly was like, damn, put a little honey on that shit. Like just a little bit of honey. But that's not who she was. She just is. But if you knew her, you kind of knew that it was coming from a place of like, I want to see you succeed. I want to see you work. And the industry is what the industry is. And at that time specifically, there was no way I was going to get a lead role. One, with my experience, and two, especially with my weight. So it's like, that's just what it is. And it's getting better, but like, it's still not that far from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, Miss Berry, thank you.
Yeah.
And
appreciate you.
I had a very similar experience with Carolyn Berry. God rest her
Oh,
soul.
my God.
I
Oh, yeah,
love
she did pass
Carolyn
away,
Berry.
so
Carolyn
bad.
Berry, she
She's the
passed
best.
away from cancer. She was amazing.
Yeah.
Like Martha said, if Carolyn Berry liked you, she took you in as like her child.
Yeah.
So and Carolyn was so gracious, and she knew a lot of us were coming out here and we were struggling, and she was like, okay, if you can't afford to take my class, you can walk my dogs. So she had these 2 big standard poodles, and she would let us walk her dogs in trade for being like class assistants for her class if you couldn't really afford to pay for her class. So I had a similar interaction when I first moved out here. I was on the hunt for agents. I had that big old box of headshots. I was mailing them out, taking them to people's office. You know, back then you used to drop your little headshot in that box outside of people's door.
Yeah.
So I would do my
you
rounds.
get your list of agents from
the
Sam
book.
Silver French.
Yes.
Like,
Sam
the
French,
list
get the
and
book,
just mail them all out.
and you mail them out, or you drop them off in person, or if you got the breakdowns, you run over there and you saw the breakdown that said they were casting somebody for a show. You go drop their headshot off at the door of that cast director. So yes, I had my big box, and I was on the hunt for an agent, and I met with this agent, and he was like, I really, really like you. I can tell you studied before, but he was like, you're competing against people out here in LA who have been out here since they were 3 years old acting. And he was like, so I need you to work with a coach who's just going to help you knock off some of this green that you have. He said, because I can tell you study, but you're just not ready to compete against these people who are the same age as you, who have credits on their resume and been working since they're 3. I said, cool. So he said, I said, who should I go to? He said, go to Carolyn Berry first for commercial and start there, and then come back to me after you work with Carolyn Berry. I said, great. So I go meet Carolyn Berry. I walk up the hill. She lived up in the hills in Hollywood. Walk up that hill, walk up that big old mountain. And then I get to the house. And
Did you have a car back then?
No. This is when I rode the bus. I walked up that hill.
What? I never knew that.
Walked
I
up
never
that hill.
knew that. I've walked that hill in 90 fucking degree
You
weather.
sweating. You sweating. By the time you get in there, you
miserable.
sweating. So then you get in her house. Her poodles are laid up on the couch.
Yep.
And she tells you, okay.
They own that house.
They own the house. And you can't put your feet nowhere near that couch. But them dogs rolling around.
Dogs rolling around
So
in the dirt,
on
the couch. And you can't even
take your shoes off. Don't put your feet on my couch. Don't do nothing.
Wow.
So then she gives you your sides, and she's like, okay, go outside in the backyard and rehearse the scene, and then I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna read you on camera. Great. So I go out. She has this beautiful zen backyard. There's waterfalls, and you in the back. I'm like, dang, I'm up in the hills, lady rich. So I'm reading the sides. I go back in. I do my little audition, and she goes, okay, I can tell you've studied this. You're good, but we're gonna have to do something about this horrible Southern accent. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, Southern accent. I'm from Chicago. Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to have to work on that. I was like, okay. She's like, you're not going to get these commercials. You're not going to book these things. And they're looking for someone who has like a very clear, specific, like American dialect. You're not going to book it with this
standard
accent.
American, just neutral.
So I'm like, okay, perfect. So I take her class, walk them dogs, and then she introduced me to Josh as well. But she was just super hardcore. But I'm telling you, that woman, she loved the students she worked with, and she was harsh in a way that was like pushing you to be your best self. And I look back on it, and it's a lot of times I've audited classes out here with acting coaches, and they're like, oh, you're so wonderful, that's so great. And I'm like, that's terrible.
a lot. That was terrible.
And I'm glad I came across all of those different teachers and I would say mentors in the way that I did
Sure.
at the time I did.
Same.
And I don't think the way Carolyn did it, it was harsh and direct, but it didn't cause an insecurity for me.
Yeah.
Whereas the way that cast director
Oh,
did
yeah,
it,
yeah,
it caused
yeah,
an
yeah.
insecurity
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
And I had like I was already in a space with Carolyn where she was creating a relationship with me. Though I had just met her, we were establishing a relationship. I was referred to her. And so I started to build a relationship. And then she started to work with me as a student. So that never stuck in my head as something that I was like, oh, I'm so insecure about the way I speak. But what the casting director did was harmful.
Yeah, she embarrassed you.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
front of another person.
That was
Yeah.
fucked up.
It was so bad. So, you know, I think there's ways to do it. And Josh, when we talk about this all the time, when Josh, and you study in the same school with Josh too, but you study with her,
Under Miss
with this
Martha
wonderful lady.
Prosper.
But
Sorry. I get
the
so
way
excited.
the way he has always done it too, he was always very measured in the way he approaches you about things that you need to work on. So he would be like, okay, Rob, I can see you're struggling with this. We're gonna unpack this, and it's gonna help open you up as an actor so that you're free in your like emotional experience because something is blocking you from getting to the next place. And then he will pull you to the side and have a conversation with you like, okay, are you okay? Do I have permission to ask you questions? And I'll be like, sure. And then he'd be like, are you dealing with this? He's like, I'm not a therapist, but I kind of see this is probably a block for you.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, that's it. And then you open up a relationship, but it was a safe space. So then I could work on it from the perspective of an actor and not work on it from the perspective of being insecure about something that you just punched me in the throat about,
Sure.
you know?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
It's true. She had a very like real way of just. I respect somebody that's just gonna tell you the truth. No chaser. Like that's where I'm from. I'm from New York. Like we keep it a buck. Hopefully. Right. And so Josh is also from New York. Like just keep it a buck with me. Like I don't care what it is. And it's true. It didn't feel harmful to me when she said it. It felt like I went to her with like requesting advice and information, and she told me what it was straight up, and I was like, bet, because probably quite a few people were like, no, I think you can like use the same one. I think it's fine, or I think it's okay, or whatever the case is. And it's like, listen, you're beautiful, you're great, like you can act, but this doesn't look like you. You look older because of the weight that you've put on. So like, if you wanna use this, lose weight. And I'm like, all right, bet. Sounds good to me.
So, how do we manage our inner critic? You know, like how do we, you know, like
I think it's a one. I think everybody should absolutely consult a therapist. I think we should take away the stigma of therapy because I think it's happening at a greater rate than we've seen before. I think a lot of people are understanding the value of talking about your experiences and your feelings and the voices that are always critiquing you. But I do also think a lot of that comes from, you know, experiences that we have throughout the process of life from childhood until adulthood. All those experiences shape who we are, and they shape the way we view ourselves. They shape the person we see in the mirror. And I think a key part of resolving some of it or like working through it is talking to somebody who is licensed to help people through that.
Yeah. Therapy is great. I think I told you guys this before, but I saw this interview many years ago with Taraji P. Henson. And she was actually on Arsenio talking about Baby Boy. And she was just kind of like, you know, this is our first big scene. It's Teresa's first big movie, like his first movie really at all. And I think she had done a couple smaller things before that, before Baby Boy. And she was just kind of like, before the sex scene, we're just kind of meeting each other and we're like, okay, like this is what we're going to do. You're going to touch me here. My breast is going to be showing here. You're going to cup this. You're going to do that. Right. And the night before, she just kind of stood in the mirror naked and was just like, okay, I need to deal with all of Taraji stuff now so that I don't bring Taraji stuff into the scene tomorrow because Taraji don't got no business being there. It's really just about, I forget the character's name. It's really about the character and her being with her man and like, you know, making a video for and with her man. Like it has nothing to do with whatever Taraji's hang-ups are. And I thought that was just such a powerful way to approach it because are in a business where these are part of us. These characters are a part of us, but they're not us, right? And so, like, if you bring any of your own personal hangups to these roles, you do them a disservice, and you do yourself a disservice, right? Because you don't allow yourself the freedom to fully be like, to fully live in the space of that and in the world of those characters. So I think that, like, just, and this doesn't even have to be with acting, just in general, like figuring out how to love on those parts of yourself that just feel a little sticky. You know what I mean? Those parts of yourself where you're just like, ugh, I could work on that. Loving yourself through those moments or through those things is the best way to like overcome them. I think like anytime you're kind of like, ugh, girl, you know what I mean? Like that whole thing when you're looking in the mirror, like, oh fuck, it doesn't get better when you do that. Like it just gets worse. So I think that, you know, like my little belly, okay, I'm gonna let it's cold outside. It's been cold. You kept me warm, girl. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving. But like you just have to, I think you just have to continue to love on yourself and love yourself through those things so that what you can change, you do change. Through love, and then what you can't change, you hopefully find a way to accept and see as beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that's just how it goes.
I agree with both of you guys. I just feel like perfection is not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think also just keeping in mind that you don't want to have your hang-ups get in the way of a performance if you're an actor. Also, your hang-ups from just as a human, allow your hangups to get in the way of relationships. You know, so just being mindful of those things. Also, identifying what is an insecurity versus like dysmorphia. You know, I think that's really something that people should maybe look more into. Yeah, okay, I'm a little thin. I could probably do a few more push-ups, eat a little bit more. Okay, I can work on that. Versus I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I'm looking at myself on camera, and I'm pinpointing something that only I see that is so magnified. You know, I think that's probably when you probably need to look a little deeper, or maybe therapy could help, or just asking yourself what is true in that moment. You know, is this imagination? Also just kind of getting some perspective from loved ones as well.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing? Because you just really hit the nail on the head with a couple things. And you said it earlier, and you just brought it back to that too. And I think it's so important. And I've learned, it didn't happen overnight. I've learned that if I see something that I want to fix that is correctable through simple action and changing my habits and creating a habit, like, you know, I'm like, oh, I don't think my chest is big enough, or I don't like the way my arms look. I can do push-ups, and I can hold myself accountable to doing 40 push-ups before I go to bed and 40 push-ups when I wake up. And you can hold yourself accountable to those things, and you can start to see a change in not only your appearance, but the way you see yourself, the way you perceive yourself, the way you feel about yourself. And I think action, like being action oriented and like changing habits also helps that, right? It could be like, oh, I feel like I have dark circles. Okay, start taking vitamins and supplements and drinking water, hydrating yourself. Y'all know I hate water. You know I hate water.
I know.
But I force I have to force
me.
I cannot stand it. Hate it. It's so nasty. But
water is life.
it's so nasty.
But
It's so
understand.
nasty. It's so
I
nasty.
love
I can't stand the way it tastes. I gotta put something in. I gotta put a lemon or something in it. I don't like the way it tastes. But, you know, so I'm like, yeah, just hold yourself accountable to those things. Like drink water, take supplements, take vitamins. You know, there are things we can do within reason to like start to maintain an appearance that we're happy with, and that we, you know, and I think it's fair for us to be a little critical, but not overcritical. Like you said, don't look in the mirror and see things that you just think are awful that no one else sees, because I know I am the king of doing that.
Or allow it to debilitate you.
Yes.
Or allow it to seep into your self-worth.
Yes.
I mean, easier said than done, but these are things I think it's important to be mindful of. And that's definitely something that, for me, has come with age. There's still things that bother me, of course, and that get in my head, but I think that with age, I've been afforded the space to kind of assess and put something in queue and evaluate whether or not that is truthful, whether or not it is helpful or harmful. So just keeping those things in mind.
I have a quick question before we wrap up. But
Yeah.
do these insecurities show up when you're having intercourse with,
No.
like an intimate thing? No.
No.
For me, no.
The things that bother me, not so much. I mean, obviously.
Why do you think that is?
Well, why doesn't it affect me?
Like, why do you think it is? Because it's the same for me. Like, whatever, like, I'm like, oh, damn. Whatever I'm paying attention to when I'm looking at these videos, I'm like, could give a fuck less.
And I could tell you, I tell you why for me.
When I'm getting intimate with somebody, I don't give
I can tell you why for me.
I'm in my queendom.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why for me. It's very similar to acting, and like what it took for me to really get into a space where I was like, oh, I can do this, I'm good at this. And it was taking the attention off myself. And when I am performing, when I'm doing that, my attention is on the other person because it's about taking care of the other person. When I'm acting, it's the same thing. My attention is on the person across from me. It's about what's happening between me and that person, what they're doing to me, and I'm responding off of it. So that's why for me, even in like intimate circumstances, I'm not going, ooh, what's wrong with my stomach? Ooh, what's wrong with my feet? Ooh, does my mouth? Because I'm not paying attention to myself because I'm paying attention to the other person and their experience in the moment. And it kind of takes that weight off of me. So I don't have that problem there. But when I'm standing in the mirror by myself, it's just me in the mirror. So I'm going, I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. Ooh, I can change that. Maybe that's off. Ooh, this is a little off. My skin don't look right. And then I'm looking at myself and I'm just thinking myself because I'm the only one. It's just me in the mirror.
Well, isn't it interesting that we can give that full attention and like almost grace to other people? Because I'm also not really, if I'm deciding to sleep with you, I'm also not really concerned if you got a little pooch belly at that time. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At that time. Yeah.
I know how it sounded. That's not what I meant.
You said not till you cut the grass and you ain't got no shirt on and the neighbor's looking at you.
I don't mean it like that. But there's certain things that like, but at that point when you've decided to sleep with somebody, they come in with all of their flaws, and none of it, whatever their flaws are to them, I don't care about it because I've already decided that I'm going to be with you and I'm going to sleep with you. And it's bigger than that. It's more about like intimacy and pleasure and making sure that we're like connected with one another. That for me is the most important part. So not only am I not thinking about my own insecurities, I'm also not worried about what you got going on. Right. And so so in a way you offer grace not just to yourself, but to the other person. Yeah. And I think it's very interesting that like we can't find that for ourselves when we're alone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you know what's so crazy? It's so crazy because like I thought about this the other day that it's not just us. I feel like everybody has this because I was watching that clip with Keke Palmer and Nia Long where they were talking about, I've been using neck cream. I
hope it's not too late.
I hope it's not too late. I was crying, but I'm like, oh my God, like I'm sure
immediately
we all
went to go look up
like
on neck cream.
Hand cream. Let me So it's so interesting because we really all do deal with this, and it is definitely something that's elevated in the industry we're in. But I'm sure, like you said, everyday people deal with it too. But it's just we're not alone in judging ourselves. So and we shouldn't feel bad about it. We should just figure out how to maneuver in the circumstance safely.
And whenever that inner critic comes up, just call cut on that shit.
You better call cut.
You better call cut on
Somebody
that.
better call cut.
That's what I'm talking about, Haji. You better put that in there.
You better throw in that call cut.
Cut.
It's most important you cut it before somebody else has to call cut.
Oh my God.
Them prices way too high. You need to
cut or keep
it.
The Critic Within. Do you cut it or keep it?
I think it's important to have a bit of it.
Yeah,
but
I think so too.
But sometimes you gotta call cut on.
You gotta reel it in.
Yeah,
you ain't gotta cut them off, but you gotta call cut.
You gotta call cut. Yeah,
right. You ain't gotta cut it completely. But you do have to keep the reins on.
Yeah,
don't let it run on you. Basically. All right, this was cool. I think this was a great conversation. Mm-hmm. Good job, Haji.
Thank you all for this wonderful conversation.
You all.
Should they know that it came from a tiff that Rob and I had?
Well,
we can share that information. I'm
another
okay with
day.
That. Yeah, they said that my photo looked like AI, and it was not.
First of all,
it was a very unedited headshot with forehead wrinkles and bags under the eyes.
Someone is
But they
bugging
said
the
it was
fuck
AI.
out.
This
It's
photo was taken before
ASMR,
AI was even a
ASMR.
thing.
I didn't say
When
nothing.
two friends are going at it. That's how this conversation came
That's
about.
how-
But it's a dope ass conversation.
Yeah. We could
we can
have a part
Nobody
2,
thought
really,
you were AI,
honestly.
babe.
We could. This could
Huh?
go on and on and on.
No, it really could.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was great. I think the final thoughts basically is like, find a way to love even the parts of yourself that you don't maybe not like so much. And if you could do something about it, do something about it. If you can't, learn to love it and embrace it. Treat yourself like how you treat somebody you love.
Yeah.
With the same care and tenderness. Love on yourself a little bit more, child. It's okay. It's all right. Who you are is exactly who you should be in this world. Yeah. Okay. That's
a cut.
That's a cut.